Well, got a little bit of cleaning done. Things are a little bit neater out here, so that's a plus. I just came out here. I have an idea. It's something I might want to tackle today. I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to do it. So, this comes out of here. The Maxwell 24 volt DC 375 farad starting booster capacitor. This part here lives inside there. And if you guys have ever wondered, they wrap these up this way, put them in here, and then there's, I kid you not, there's double-sided tape in here holding that in place. That's how it's attached. So when you pull it out, you can see the tape. That's what comes in this box. That's how it's put together. Not impressive, but we're not worried about that. The other thing is that they're using 6-gauge copper. It's actual OFC copper, but it's 6-gauge to hold it to these terminals here. That's a thing also. But I've already discharged this as far down as I could get it, which was about 5 volts. So it doesn't have a lot of power in it, but it still does have power in it. And capacitors have a lot of current even when they don't have a lot of voltage. So you can get it down to 1 or 2 volts and still get a ton of current out of this, ton of energy. And so keep that in mind if you're messing with these things. Just be aware of all the things all the time. That's the main thing. Think about it and be aware of it. Here we go. So now what we want to do is just keep 6 of these together, 6 in a series. So we want a 6S. Now to do that, I could take off these 2 cells or these 2 cells. Technically, I could disassemble the whole pack and put it back together again. But that's not necessary. All right. Now that should lay down. Got a little skin mark there. Little battle damage. So now when I get these positioned the way I want them, I can tighten them back up. And this will be my bank right here. Yeah, I got a little skin mark there. But they're going to end up going on display. So I want to have them all kind of pointing the same direction. You know what I'm saying? So I want to go through here and figure that out. So if you look right here, you've got bus bar and then washers, and then these bars on top of those. Basically, the bus bar acts like a washer. So you got a bar, washer, bar, and I need to add another washer down here so that there's not undue stress on the board, which is also a bar. And so we'll slip this sucker out and then put that washer in right there. That way it's nice and flat and straight, lined up with everything all the way down. Same thing on the other side. And we'll stick this back on here loosely because I'm going to adjust all these cells. The reason is not for anything important. I'm just doing it because I want it to look a certain way. So, like, you know, what do I want to display? You know, what do I want to show? I don't know. I think the 3-volt thing is kind of cool. All right, so I'm coming up with a plan for making something to hold these things. And you could use a lot of different things. But I've got some of this 1/4 inch. I call it Luan. It's not what it is, but I've got some of this. And it's sturdy enough for this job. So what I'm thinking is making this big enough to cover all the way around with some extra for mounting options. That looks pretty good there. So something to this effect. Let's get a rudimentary measure. So say maybe 9.5 inches. And then we will slip this bad boy in here and get us a cut line over here. Then you can use the square of it to make this cut. It ain't got to be perfect, but I can use the end of this little level here as a crappy square. Get me a line down there. And then we'll measure from that line to get us a line down here. You see here. See how that's fitting. We'll go down to about 6. We'll do the same thing over here. This doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is just a back plate. So I'm not really worried about having a perfect square, but let's just see how close we got for the hell of it. Going from corner to corner, we got 20 1/4 there. And over here, same thing, corner to corner, we got 20 1/4. So it's perfectly square. Imagine that. Now we'll need to cut this out. And this will be our base plate to mount everything onto. I think it's going to work out pretty good. Nice little base. Now I got some more figuring to do. Let's have a little sneak peek here. How things are looking. I haven't got these tightened up yet, but that's for a reason. It's what I got in my brain right here. You guys are probably wondering how I'm going to attach these to the board. Well, I am too, but I've got a couple of ideas. One of which is these things. Haven't attempted this yet, so I don't know if it's going to work. But these little zip ties have a place for a screw to go in them. And so I was thinking, let's grab one of these extra ones over here. It's easier to work with. I'm wondering if that would go around there. Not quite. So I'd have to use a double up on another zip tie, and I've got some others I could double them up with. But there's another option too. So you can use a zip tie through a hole. So essentially what you do is, and I wouldn't be using these, I'd be using a regular zip tie. I've got a bunch of those too. But you cut the end off of one end of one zip tie, and you pull one zip tie through, go over the top, back through another hole, and you slip that cut off end on that and create a U-shaped fastener. And I think that would work pretty good. So I can drill the little holes and then just lay the zip ties in. Now here's the thing though. Again, I'm trying to have an appearance here. So I want it to look good in the end. So considering whether I want to put one zip tie on either side or one in the middle, and if I do them in the middle, I also want to make sure that they're nice and straight and even and consistent all the way down, because if not, it's going to bug me. Well, that's one option. There is a second option. Honestly, it might be the best option. Because I can always use the heat gun to break it loose again if I want to. Got to think about it. A lot of looking and thinking goes on with these kind of projects. Now, as much as I like the idea of hot gluing these guys into place, the one thing that bothers me is these capacitors may warm up during operation. Probably will. And I don't want to take a chance on the glue breaking loose and the capacitor becoming unattached to the board. So I need to have a secondary attachment. And what I think I'm going to do is, once I get it attached, is I'm going to run a zip tie over the bus bar here, here, and here, and over this bus bar and this bus bar to clamp everything down to give it an extra secure mounting foundation. The bus bars will be plenty strong enough to hold it, and the zip ties are non-conductive and the wood's non-conductive and everything is fine. That added bit of security, I think, will make me happy. So all I need to do is mark it out and drill 2 holes for my zip ties to run through. All right, so we got the glue gun hot. Got a new stick of glue in there. So I want to do this all in one pass. I got my batteries laid out here. They're tightened up batteries, they're capacitors, but they're all tightened up. The bolts are tightened up, everything's in position. I got it laid out here where I can kind of see where I'm going with my lines. And what I'm going to do is go squiggle, 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 like this. And then put the battery in position. Down where the, oh man, I got those holes wrong. I gotta flip, man, I gotta turn this around. There we go. That's what we're looking for right there. Let's let that glue cool just a little bit, see how well it holds. Yeah, I missed that little. It's okay though. I just moved some hot glue around in different locations, which is fine. All my holes are acceptable. Not perfect, but they're acceptable. And looks like it's got a hold. They're pretty damn good. Negative, Batman. It does not. Not dry enough. So we're going to have to add some hot glue. Rapid prototyping these like this sometimes. If I let it set a little longer, it would probably stick, but I'm not happy with it, so we're gonna add some more glue. Those holes lined up pretty good. All right, that's as good as it's going to get. My holes are a little bit underneath, so it isn't a bad thing, but it's going to make it more difficult to get the zip ties in. Let's give that time to set up and dry and see how it turns out. Now, I haven't picked this up to check it yet. We're still letting that glue dry or cool, but I'm going to add some in between these cells to stick them together. Back when I was doing RC cars, we used to use shoe goo between the nickel cadmium and nickel metal hydride cells to stick them together. That shit worked pretty good, but it was extremely sticky and very long lasting. Not something that you could really remove. Been a couple of minutes since I stuck it down. Let's see how this is holding up now. I call that a win. Now it's time to apply the zip ties. Now, I haven't trimmed the zip ties off yet, so they're still hanging down there. But you can see I got 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then 1, 2 on this side. So the thing is securely mounted. It's not going to come off this board, even if the hot glue doesn't hold, which it seems to be holding fine. So we're nice and secure. That's what I'm looking for. Now, it could be done that a board be across here to cover up this end, because I don't need to get to these. And I could also continue that and box the whole thing in. I could run terminals, or I could run holes in a piece of wood up here and have the wire coming out on each end. There's a lot of ways I could do this safer by enclosing this whole thing. And let's talk about that a little bit. Now, the sheer amount of instantly attainable energy that's stored in a capacitor makes it different from a battery. And that's good, because that's what we're looking for, is that available energy. But let's say, hypothetically, you've got that mounted somewhere and you're in a collision. And the collision happens to impact you right where the capacitors are, or it impacts you somewhere that causes things to shift in your vehicle, and those capacitors, all those ends, come into contact with metal. They're going to unload completely instantly. If there's any fuel leaking, you have a hot enough spark to ignite fuel. If for nothing else, you've got potentially exploding capacitors. None of that's good. So building a box around them is ideal. Just keep that in mind. If you're building a setup with using capacitors, protect them. Protect them like they're the most valuable thing that you own. Because you may be protecting the most valuable thing you own. That said, I got some 3/4 inch laying around. Because you know me, guys, I don't throw anything away. And I think what I'm going to do is build me a piece that comes out and kind of offers some protection for these ends down here. And I don't want to go all the way to the edge. I'm just going to go to the edge of the cells. So something like this will work nicely. And then I want to go up high enough to where it covers the top of the cell. You know, to the rounded portion. So then I'll cut this piece out right here, and that'll be that bottom piece. I don't believe that's going to hurt anything at all to have that. So here's what I have in mind, but I don't have any glue to glue it in place before I shoot it. I'm probably going to make a copy of this for the top. That's what we're going to do right there, though. Learn as we go, man. Figure out what works and what doesn't work, and how to do it better the next time. That's how this all goes. Rapid prototyping at its finest.